All right, so this next panel or presentation is basically finance for publishers, and I'm very excited that we have IPG's CFO here. He was a former VP of Finance at Penguin Publishing. I'm sure you've heard of that, and obviously has a vast experience in business strategy, including financial analysis and overall business transformation. Here is Frank, I don't even know if I'm going to say this right. Autunale. Frank Autunale.
Frank Autunale, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to apologize because I'm more of a talker and a walker. I spent 5 years teaching at NYU.
Yeah.
No, we don't have portable mics.
No, right here. Do it, please, because that way we can record it. Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, I'm
Is that
sorry.
really rough? Okay, we'll work on that. How's that? Is that a little bit better?
Great.
Okay, fair enough. And Darius can help me go through these slides. So I spent a long time, Barry, on one slide, please.
If I can get it to go. Come on.
A little bit about me while Barry does that. I grew up in this industry, spent about 25 years at various publishing houses.
Can't even get it.
Collins.
There we go.
And spent a good time at HarperCollins. It's a funny story at HarperCollins. I was there when we made 1.3 billion in sales, and we lost $250 million. So as a result, we decided to find our core competency, and we started to carve out parts of our business. And we carved out 2 companies, Basic Books and Westfield, and worked under the leadership of David Steinberger. For those of us in the distribution business, David Steinberger, he later became the CEO of Perseus. And then 25 years later, I'm sitting at his show book group, and I bought Perseus. And I sat across from David Steinberger. So what we know about our industry is that it's highly incestuous, and we all get to know each other. And the point about today's conversation is it's highly fundamental. But I want to share with you what I've learned through my travels through these companies. Some of the stuff you already know. But what's interesting is, again, because it's incestuous, the intellectual property just crosses house to house. So we'll do some fundamentals, and maybe there's something here that you can pick up. Maybe not, but we'll try. Let's try. So, more about me. Well, what is the CFO? Right? I know, we're all editorial, we're all publishers. This is not a CFO. I'm sorry. This is the visual that we all have it online with that green cap. This is your CFO. Hold on, let's stand down. The CFO is really a financier. He's got to get the money in the bank. Put money in the bank, and you can bring more books to marketplace. He's got to be your statistician. Like, how you're reporting to, am I making money? He's got to be a closer. He's got to be able to say no. Don't be mad at me when I say no to you. He has to understand systems. And there's a difference when we get a CFO. The question is, why do companies fail? It's the biggest question. The problem across the country. And everyone in this room knows the answer. No cash. No cash. Where does the cash go? In publishing, high advances, wrong stock, inventory just not selling. And we see it every day. So, first rule of finance is to protect the assets of the company. As long as we have assets, our company survives. Who are you? You are great publishers. You're here to do the next Gatsby, the next Steinbeck. You'll find it, it's there. But who am I? I'm here for you. I'm here to make money. So sometimes your finance office is going to give you a hard time because we're not showing good profit. We're ordering long on inventory. We're paying a lot for an advance that we shouldn't have, even though we can see it in our financials. Just don't want to do it. So the role of finance is really twofold. Finance is somewhat different than accounting. Finance is on the front end of your business, working with you on the acquisition payments, seeing if the deals are right. The accounting is kind of reactive, trying to record what that finance officer did. It's slightly different. 2 different roles underneath finance and accounting. Really quickly, when we think of accounting in the orange, really boring stuff. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, my control is in the room, so he's laughing. The finance side is working on the purple, but together they work hand in hand, and they're a really big support to your team. So what I like to do is I like to talk about this thing called the mad scientist theory. And when we think about how to measure a company, we look at income statements, which are our profitability. And we look at revenue. Is my business growing? Look at the bottom line. Am I making money? Look at cash flow. Is there more money in the bank? And then there's other things like working capital. How much AR is out there? How much inventory is out there? KPIs, a key performance indicator. What's your returns rate? So these are different things. A P&L is really important to us. It shows us the profitability of a company, an imprint, or even a title. Throughout my travels, we do a lot of pre-acquisition P&Ls, and then we do post-publication P&Ls to see if our assumptions were correct. Very simply, revenue less expenses is profit. And when we talk about net revenue, we have to consider returns. Returns have been a plague of our industry since the 30s. Just can't get away from it. But going back to mad scientist theory, when we talk about the mad scientist theory, I want you to visualize an Abbott and Costello movie. And there's all these levers on the board. It's in the Frankenstein test. Each one of these levers is something that we control in finance. Units, price, discount. Each one of these levers changes your P&L. General rule of thumb, price bands. And what we're seeing is that price bands are starting to gravitate upwards. I'll give you a second like that. Just filter in. So under a wholesale model, we recognize that our cover at one time was $24.95. Although I'm using 49% as a discount, we get $12.72. Let's just use $12.72. At the end of the day, the wholesalers pass it off to the retailers, and the retailers try and sell it for what they can. You walk into a retail store, it's never at list, it's always 30, 40% off. The ebook model, sorry. That's just a calculation. So let's assume in this calculation we do 5,000 units. So I'm just trying to run some numbers to show you a P&L by the end of this presentation. I'll show you a P&L. And the P&L says at this point, if I assume 5,000 units, which is for a small publisher, it's not a Penguin, it's not a Hachette. So I make about 63,000. Let's assume ebooks. Ebooks, just throw out some numbers. Let's use 1,000 units. So you got like $9,000 in sales. We know about reserve for returns. They come back. Across the industry, some companies use 12 months. Penguin Random House use 24 months. This just comes back. It comes back forever. These are typical returns rates on an average that I've seen. So, going back to that 63,000, if you got to take a 30% returns rate, that means I'm taking $20,000 off the top of this transaction. And it just sits there in the balance sheet for a future return. So simply, that sales, our gross billing, less our returns, plus our ebook sales, is your net sales number. And net sales is really important because net sales is a driver of most of our KPIs. And you'll see this very shortly. Talk about plant and manufacturing and royalty. So we all know what the definition of plant is, but there's some interesting things coming out of the East Coast. Plant has become a really big focus. Plant usually runs 6 to 8% of your net sale, but a lot of companies are trying to minimize the cost of plant. So what are we seeing? We're seeing less special effects being produced. Less French flaps, less embossing, less design work. We're seeing digital workflow enter plant. typesetting, using forms and templates to try and expedite to market. It's surprisingly that as we move to a digital world, that we're not using a lot of proofs. I mean, how often do we hear that we got a manuscript and we need 6 copies of a proof? Now today, we just share the proof via PDF. So plant has become a really big focus on the East Coast. Additionally, PPB. PPB is one of the biggest costs on our P&L. And what we're finding is that the market is gravitating away from costs to more groundwork. There's a 10 to 15% difference in pricing. That's huge. So I want to share that with you. If you're not considering groundwork when you bring your publications to market, there's some savings there. I'm not saying everything has to be gloss or everything has to be groundwork, but there's definitely some money. Typical prices that are obtained by East Coast. This may seem cheap to you, or that's not what I pay, but you have to think about how big companies are really leveraging their purchasing power. So what does purchasing power mean? Purchasing power means that they've consolidated the vendor base, and they're using 2, 3, maybe 4 printers. They're able to get some really good
Sorry, did I go
prices.
too fast? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you did great. I'll just leave that on for a second. So you got to think about that when you're looking at.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You go too far. Come back one.
There we go. I went the wrong way.
So when you're competing against even an imprint of Hachette or Radom, go back one, please. I mean, they are on the low end of the spectrum. Now, I know everyone wants to order long to reduce the unit book cost, but the truth is the next slide really shows us what happens when you order long. What we find is that we're oversized, and a company like mine, IPG, may charge you a rental fee to keep those units in stock. At the end of the day, you're probably going to destroy those books. You may try and remainder them, but you're really going to take an impact on your P&L. 7 to 10% is going to be written off. Inventory just not sellable. Another interesting thing is the royalty rates. Again, I'm not teaching you what you don't know. I'm just sharing with you what's going on the East Coast. On the hardcover range, what we're doing on the East Coast is we're not leaving it in the market long. Trying to get it out of the market in 3 to 4 months. It's more of a test to see if we can bring it out in trade paperback. Look at the difference in your rate. Let's take a moment and think about what we know. You know, Carolyn Reedy at SNS is doing about 13%. The whole company. Brian Murray at Harper doing 12 to 13. Marcus at Random 14, 15. Look at the difference just in the royalty rate. So, we know that these major companies, Steinbeck, great books, deep backlist, they've moved 60% of their list in your trade paperback, taking advantage of this difference. So again, I'm working on that model from before. I'm just doing some royalty calculations. It's really not important for now. I'll show you in a second. The other thing that the East Coast is doing, and if you're not doing it, you should consider it, that they're using step-level royalty rates. So maybe in our model of 5,000, the first 2,000 are at 8%, and the next 2 to 4,000 is at 10%. And all this adds up, contributes to your P&L. So, surprisingly, this is an example of what we just calculated on screen. And you must be horrified that the entire profitability of this little transaction is 2%. Think about it. What we're finding is that frontlist is a loss leader. Trying to break even. Trying to get into a backlist model and take advantage of cheaper UVC unit book costs in the trade paperback model. Take advantage of different royalty rates. Just think about this for a second. 2% frontlist. 2% profitability on frontlist. These are real numbers. This is a shot. So, go back to the mad scientist theory. What's in your control? In your control is a number of variables you got to think about. You shouldn't be afraid about raising pricing. You keep your eye on special effects. They're going to eat you up quickly. Just go back. It's 2% on that slide. Pay an extra $500 from Boston. And then impact you. Here's your workflow. Try to reduce your EAs, your AAs, consolidate your typesetters. Empower your executive admins to assist. Ask yourself, do you need softwares? Make a change. It'll help the bottom line. Slide back one slide. I only made $900 on this transaction. So go back. So if it costs you $30 for a proof, you're changing your P&L. I'm sorry. Nope, go back. Brownwood paper is the new thing. Maybe you're doing Brownwood. I know this is going to bother a lot of small publishers, but we were doing 3 to 6 months supply. We didn't care. We printed again. Think about my warehouse. I have a bin that has your book. And if your book sits there for 3 years, we don't make money, and you're not making money. If that is your warehouse, you'll want your bin to have velocity, constantly churning, getting greater efficiency than your warehouse. Look at your paper bills. They all do it. No one looks. They charge you for overs. What was your print limit? 5,000. What's the invoice say? 5,200 copies. How much time? Come on. Take $2-3 million a penny. Just turn it off. At Penguin, 139 trim sizes. 139 trim sizes. I do 3,000 titles per year, frontlist. And Penguin had 139 trim sizes. Reduce your trim sizes, optimize your paper. The software today, printers know how to do it. Get an extra page per sheet. Save your UVC a couple of pennies. And add up. We talked about step level of royalty rates. Keep an eye on your catalogs. The world's moved digital. Catalogs expensive. Great. Salespeople love them. It's very old school. The world's changing. We have to embrace digital. Galleys and AUX, they're nice to have. You want to save money? Just think about reducing it. Just a little. We spent so much time consolidating our vendors. We lost control. I hate to say it, editorial took over, and they started striking deals with everybody they knew. Look at systems efficiencies as well. There are good companies out there. A company like Juve, and I think there's someone here in the house who can't come up with their name. They've got great resources for interiors and exteriors. Help you streamline the production process. So when we started to do this, we were able to increase the front list either by 4 points. Doesn't sound like a lot. But 4 points on $300-400 million is very substantial for a company like Penguin, $900 million company. So you gotta look at every nook and cranny. And what I've learned is that when someone says, have you gone through the process and you went from A to Z, go back to A again, because the world changed. Things change, and there's new tools, new models, new people, new ideas. And it's a evolving process. But to get 4 points on your front list is really important. Remember, we understand our backlist is 60% of our business. And it converts really highly. 30% roughly. Go back to some issues. So what are they making? Talent says 13%, and she's happy. Right? Marcus says 15%. He's loving it. Where's the money come from? Backlist. Get the front list to work for you. All right. Hopefully I was very high level. Give you some pointers of what was happening on the East Coast. Any questions? Okay, early lunch.
Oh, here's one.
I was a bit intrigued by your suggestion to consider reduction in galleys. I was wondering if there was a specific galley you might recommend. I don't know if you can say that here now, but
I think there are companies out there that are using digital transformation that's really helping us to use printing galleys.
Yeah.
You're doing a galley print run, you're doing
we're
300.
considering, you're asking me.
Yeah, let's just have a hypothetical. Are you doing 300 on the print run? So you're paying $4 or $5 for that galley. That galley there, what's the ROI? What's your return on your investment? It's not like you can pay $2 for that galley. That is so costly. You really got to think about, can you migrate your sales force? Can you migrate your leaders? What are we seeing is companies like, what's out there? NetGalley and Edelweiss are all trying to digitize this.
Right.
And you're using maybe social media and trying to get a grassroots reader collection of people reading the products, right? And some of the readers, they like digital. So making that opportunity available for them may save you a couple of bucks.
Yeah, sorry, just to follow up on what you said. So when you were suggesting to reduce galleys, you meant mostly print,
Yes.
not digital. Okay.
No. Yes, terribly sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You'd be surprised how quickly those galley pushers eat up that P&L. Again, look at this model. There's not a lot of money on this model. Those are real examples.
Fred, can I just jump in for a second?
Jeff? Yes, thank you.
So as far as digital galley options go, NetGalley is here in the exhibit launch, so is Edelweiss. IPG has a relationship with Edelweiss, so explore options that we have with Lauren and the marketing team. And there's a case, I think, for a small quantity of ARCs for those accounts that ask for that, but then push your audience to that digital.
Absolutely, Jeff. I couldn't agree more.
Is IPG still doing, could you do, if you were doing an ebook, could you do a POD? Would it be cost effective to do some print on demand at IPG, or is that service not available? Use those as galleys?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you had a book you're publishing in paperback and you're going to do an ebook. Could you talk to Mallory and do a POD run for print galleys?
Yeah, Cynthia's here on the
Probably
audience.
cheaper than a printer gallery.
Yes.
Comment that I'm from Andrew. So we're partnering with Edelweiss to be able to make print galleys available, just the way that they make digital galleys available, so that your retail partners will be able to place an order and they'll pass it back to us and we can get one off. And the goal is really to reduce this cost.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cynthia can talk about so that she should help the mic. She's been a great case study for us using external galley printers and we've already in-house using our POD facility. And there's some substantial savings that we were able to realize.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the trade is you should already have your books in at these POD programs, so you know, print out your galleys there. Just wanted to check. Again, we had significant savings moving from our outside galley printers to IPG.
Yeah, IPG POD facility works, right? Works just as well. It's just a cost, and the world is changing on us. Ebooks at one time was up to 25%. It's kept it down to 18 to 20%. I think we still have to recognize that people still enjoy visual reading.
We just did digital galleys. We were publishing picture books. We did, and so it's really, you know, F&Gs are always fun to late, but we just did some Edelweiss. And what's nice is you get the email, you get an email request, you can review it, and then you can follow up with that person, see how they like it.
I'm not supporting any one platform. I'm just
Yeah,
saying we
there's
need
lots of
financing
ways
to
to get
support you, the publisher, and trying to help you. Because there's a lot of effort in that book. You know, that book will make money if it has links, and it can convert to trade paperback, and we can take advantage of the economies of scale by moving to the trade paperback model. I mean, hopefully we all recognize that the trade paperback model is a little bit more profitable than the hardback.
Got a question here.
Yeah, okay. Hi, how are you? Good morning.
And I was just wondering, it was interesting looking at the big publishers and their rates of production, something 6 to 8%. Well, I guess the other cost of sale that aren't on that is in terms of distribution. There's also commissions, which do you know roughly what rate they would look at for distribution out of that?
So that's an interesting question. I would point you that sales, general and administrative would contain your distribution, your warehouse, your selling. It would contain executive, it would contain finance. But I don't have anything specific for you. It's a little bit of a challenging question. A room full of publishers working with a CFO of a distributor. So let's just say honestly, I mean, we all know each other's numbers, be it Ingram or be it Penguin Random House. Again, highly incestuous, well travel. I left New York City for the first time to come out here. It's interesting seeing Chicago-based business and how it operates. Your theory is probably correct. Nothing's changed in the last 10 years. I mean, Ingram's numbers are their numbers. It's going to be no different than Simon's or MTG, to be honest. You got to just find what makes you happier. Yeah, of course, less. But sometimes you pay for that secret sauce, or you pay for something special at one of those distributors. Maybe you like to feel small, maybe you like to be part of something big. It's not specific.
You've got one over here.
You want
Your suggestion of brownwood paper, is that the same as recycled paper?
No, it's a different grade of paper. So talk to your printers, because when you're buying paper, usually the printer will buy it for you in today's age. They'll move in on it. It's not a gloss. It's just a cheaper paper. It's a lower grade paper. Think about when you pick up a brand new Nora Roberts. It's got high gloss, great finish, and feels great, shiny white. And then there's a different one. It's the trade paperback paper. And I've seen trade paperback paper making it into hardbacks. It's a little browner. It's not as clear. There's at least a 10 to 15% savings in these paper qualities.
Okay.
And just reach out to your people and see if they can help you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We heard earlier, and then today, talked about smaller print runs, 3 to 6 months. So I'm asking a question because we've got a book coming out in October that has sold very well for almost 10 years.
There's always, you're right, there's always going to be exceptions, and Cynthia's in the room, and I will always fold when Cynthia presses me. But most of us know that my warehouse, and if you had your own warehouse or something, you get caught up. And we print more. We force the UBC down as low as possible. I'll eventually sell it in 2 years or 3 years. Close your eyes and visualize a warehouse. And instead of the books being on those pallets, visualize your $1 bills stacked to the ceiling. And as a finance officer, I can't use that money. That money's stuck. So now you come to me a month later and say, I got this great book, but I need an extra 10 on the advance. And I look at it, I just don't have it. And you say, well, where's all the money? One of those bullet points we opened up was working capital. One of the big points of working capital at IPG and most of our companies is managing your accounts receivable, making sure you're collecting the money that's due to you, and managing the inventory. Again, this model may not work for small publishers. It's very hard, but the world's changing, and we're not seeing big print runs. I think I just walked by a screen, and James Comey did 600,000 units this morning. It's posted. We don't experience that. When you're doing 3,000 to 5,000 units, you got to be careful. That extra 1,000 units, a second reprint or even third reprint, destroys the P&L. And it takes you from the black to the red really quickly. So it's just a little caution on running long. And long.
I don't know if this is really a question, but just admitting that I cannot figure it out. So we had a new title last year and we printed a certain print run and sold out quickly, and we didn't expect that. So then we were out of stock, and IPG basically, slapped me on the hand for that. And then I couldn't use my overseas printer because we needed them immediately. So I lost $7,000 by having to use my US printer, and then it happened again. And I just can't seem to get a handle. Maybe I need like a meeting with someone here to figure it out, but I cannot get a handle on.
You should put you in contact with our supply chain people. I'm trying to implement 3 to 6 months in my house for the publishers that work under the IPG umbrella. There are times where you're right. I'm never going to win every argument with you as a publisher, but I think conversely, you may say 7 or 8 of the other 10 titles, I'm wrong. You don't have to share with me. You're right. If we pick out extreme examples, yeah, we left money on the table. But it's the comparison of the money you left on the table versus the money that you actually saved by not going long. And what do we know about publishing? 60-70% of the titles that we bring to market, they don't run out, and we're overstocked on. You just play a war of averages and try and twist it a little bit. You're right. You left money on the table. There's no science on this. It's an art. Cynthia tells me every day, this is an art, it's not a science. I get that. But history tells us if you have 10, 20,000 titles in New York between 4 or 5 major publishers, you know what's happening, right? I mean, how many titles actually hit the New York Times bestseller list? And do you think they make money on any of those? Do you think they make money on Patterson and Fisher? No, you just donating it to the schools, right? Making money on Grisham? Nora? They came to me, they wanted a 6-book deal for $50 million from Nora Roberts. She signed one of my book on start. It was insane. The money that's being thrown around. Other questions? All right, have a great lunch.
Thanks, everybody. So, yeah. Great questions. Lunch will be starting in probably about 10 minutes. I'm sure you can head to the exhibit hall now. Yeah, we'll look forward to eating with you.